So I want to explain something that sounds technical on paper, but is absolutely devastating in real life. Over this last year, I just learned that this administration quietly changed how ICE operates when it comes to entering homes. They're now claiming that they can force their way into someone's home with just an administrative warrant, not a judicial warrant signed by a real judge. I know on paper they say that this only applies to people with final orders of removal. They say it's narrow, they say it's controlled, they say it's legal. But here's the problem: policies don't just exist on paper, they exist in reality. And in reality, what we're seeing, especially in places like Minnesota, is ICE going door to door, breaking into the wrong homes, dragging out the wrong people, detaining US citizens, traumatizing families, and terrifying entire communities. And I don't care if that only happens to 10 people. Hell, I don't care if it only happens once. The moment you normalize forced home entry without a judge, mistakes stop being exceptions, they just become inevitable. The Fourth Amendment exists for a reason. A judge is supposed to be the firewall between government power and your front door. Once you remove that firewall, you're not enforcing the law anymore, you're just gambling with people's lives. And that gamble is not being paid by policymakers, in case you didn't know. It's being paid by families, kids, and people who didn't do anything wrong. And this is where people really need to stop pretending that this is just about immigration. Because when you tell federal agents that they don't need a judge to enter a home, you are training them to treat constitutional limits as obstacles, not boundaries. You are telling them that speed matters more than accuracy and force matters more than restraint. That's how you end up with agents breaking into the wrong homes. That's how you end up with citizens being detained. That's how you end up with children needing to watch their parents get dragged outside. People always love to say, oh, well, Obama deported people too. He didn't complain that. Yeah, he did deport people, and people protested it. But he did not send ICE door to door en masse. He did not strip away judicial oversight, and he did not normalize militarized enforcement in communities. And he sure as hell didn't respond to protests by doubling down with tear gas, rubber bullets, and expanded raids. This administration now they haven't just changed policy, they have changed the posture of the state. Because now fear is a tool and intimidation is more of a tactic, and accountability is treated like an inconvenience. When the government tells you, trust us, it's limited, while the real world shows broken doors, wrong arrests, and traumatized families, you don't get to ignore that contradiction. You confront it. Because once forced entry without a judge becomes normal for one group, it doesn't stay there forever. And no, that's not paranoia, that's just history. And the question people should be asking right now isn't whether this sounds legal on paper, it's whether we are willing to live with what it looks like in real life. ICE isn't protecting America at all, it's just hiding behind paperwork to justify their cowardice and their cruelty.